Welcome to the chat zone where we tell inspiration, motivation and touching stories transform communities. My name is Kampala and I would like to take this chance to thank everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube channel, who has liked, commented and shared the content. And also, I would like to request you to continue subscribing, sharing. Those who have not commented, comment. I want your feedback. But still today, we are going to speak about photography, the art and science of taking and processing photographs, or photos, or images, whatever the case, whatever the name you use it. Now, do you need anything to do with photography? Have you seen those photos and you know how I was processed? You know the process we go through to take and process those photos. Today we are going to discuss about that. Even in the journalism, as the journalist, in the print media, while writing a story, we are told to accompany it by photography, by a photo, whatever. We accompany it by the photo to make the story complete. You have seen the Daily Monitor, you have seen the Wicked Day, you have seen the CNN, whatever. You have seen the Independent, you have seen the Standard, many newspapers across the world. To give an example, but a few. Whenever they write the story, they have to accompany it with a photo to make it complete. So today, that's our topic of discussion. We're going to discuss about the photography world, and joining me today is my guest, and I would like him to introduce himself to the viewers. Welcome, sir, to the chat zone.
Thank you, Miss my brother, Mr. Henry, for hosting me.
Yes, someone outside here might want to know who is this guest here? What is his name?
Well, my name is Walter Ivali. I'm a photographer professionally and a tourism scholar at Kampala University.
A photographer and a tourism scholar. So, what is photography in brief?
Photography, I can say, it's both an art and a science. It's an art in a way that you create memories. It's a science in a way that it also has its dynamics, techniques. Basically, you cannot come from nowhere out of the blue and say, everyone by nature is a photographer because you can hold your phone and take a photo. But it's what we call professional photography.
So like as a journalist, we have the professional journalist and we have the citizen journalist.
Exactly.
Well, to take you back, who is Walter? And I want a brief background. Background where I went to school too.
Okay, Walter is a Ugandan by nationality, a proud Ugandan from the western part of the country, southwestern part of the country. That is the tourism city for Poto. That is my home district.
So you are in Toro?
Yes.
By tribe.
I'm a proud Toro by tribe.
Now, a proud Munyo has made it a proud Toro. By the way, the language connects. So in
Mpako yange apuli.
Tapuli.
Olyota yawo.
Yanga Puli.
Olyota apuli.
So, did you copy mine or?
No, that is my pet name. Yes.
Well, outside there, the viewers, the pet name, I think you all know the pet names, and I happen to be a Puli and also happens to be a Puli. What I call it. But still, where did you go to school?
Well, I started my primary level. I was in Fort Poto at a school called Kampala Parents School. That is where I did my P1 to P7. Then from P7, I joined my senior one. I joined Maryland High School in Entel. I did my O-level at Maryland. Then my form and part of my form 5. So my senior 5 second term, I joined St. Leo's College. That is in Fort Poto. For my A-level, I did my senior 5 and senior 6. Yes.
So how did you come to Kampala University?
Well, Kampala University, when I finished my form 6, that is in 2021, as I'm in my vacation doing my photography here and there, trying out this, as a man trying to make both ends meet. So I get a call from someone. The person calls me, introduces themselves, So they asked me about my details, in brief, they told me the next week, the following Monday, I was requested to report at campus and present my academic documents that I had been given a bursary. So that is how I joined Kampala University. So the rest was just history. I gave all that was required, and eventually I began.
Did you decide for yourself to take tourism, or someone did it for you, either at school or at home?
Tourism, tourism, since my childhood, that is, as a child who was growing up, I loved tourism, I loved photography. So actually, it is tourism that made me love photography, because I loved touring different places, exploring here and there, moving around, exploring new places. That was my hobby. So when I reported to campus, I was given a brochure of the courses that are offered at Kampala University. So when I was going through, I learned on tourism and hotel management. So definitely that was my area of interest. So that is how I got to choose tourism. Yes.
So how about photography? Because you have said in your senior six vacation, you went into photography.
Yes.
How did you join that photography world?
Well, photography, I can say it was quite an interesting yet humbling and challenging experience. In my Form 6 vacation, I get the idea of starting up a photography and videography studio. So of course I never had the money. Definitely a student who is in senior 6 vacation.
What drives you to go for photography? Because other students would want to go, let me go and maybe submit somewhere to work, maybe this one, maybe in a big career, go there, any other job. So what drives you to photography?
The zeal and passion I had for photography.
Whom did you look at by then?
I looked up to so many guys, but one locally in our country, I looked up to one travel photographer by the names of Derek Senyon.
Derek Senyon?
Yes, he's a travel and wildlife photographer. That is the guy I looked up to. Then the second is a guy called Sad Shots. That is his brand name.
Sad Shots.
Yeah, Sad Shots. So those are the main guys I looked up to, and they really inspire me a lot.
Did you get time to meet them?
Yes, at least I had contacts with Derek Senyon. I have had quite humbling experiences with him. I've met him. The very first time I met him, it was on an event. It was a tourism expo at Speak Resort Minyoni. So my brother was invited, so I go with my brother. So in the due process, I also meet him as one of the invited guests due to the fact that he's a travel photographer. So I think the ministry thought it wise to invite him. So I meet him. I tell him I look up to you, Mr. Derek. I love you. I love your work. You inspire me. So he's a down-to-earth guy. He welcomes me. He gives me the do's and don'ts of the industry. We share contacts. Yeah. So
what was your first experience in meeting that Derek Senyon at Speak Resort Minyoni? How did you feel?
I can say it was the best experience, because it is like meeting someone I had always looked at this guy on TV, in documentaries, on Twitter. I follow him on social media, Twitter, and So the first time I met him, I'm like, wow, it was really a quite good experience, I can say.
Did he give you some lectures or training about photography? Being your inspiration, someone you looked at to join the industry?
Well, the first day I met him, we didn't talk much, because due to the fact that he had, I think, a tight schedule, and we never had so much time to interact, but what we did, we exchanged contacts. So in the due process, I kept in touch with him on different social media platforms, WhatsApp. Sometimes I would give him a call and, I would ask for guidance from him. So he would, basically, he has helped me. He has told me the do's and don'ts. He has given me the different techniques, the different, types of equipment I need, and he has literally tried to shape my career. Yeah.
So as we go back, you now develop the idea of opening up the photo and the video studio.
Yes.
So where they are, how did you finally make it?
So after developing the idea, I sit down with my elder brother. Due to the fact that my elder brother was already working, so I request for financial support from him. So my elder brother gets me some little money. I think it was around 4.5 million Ghana shillings. And after getting the money, now I go back to my mom. I also tell her, Mom, you know what? I think I need to try photography. I feel my passion is photography. So mom is like, okay, so what have you planned? How have you planned? I sit down, I narrate to her the whole story. I don't tell her that my brother has given me money. So she's like, so how much do you think you need? I'm like, Mommy, I need a lot of money, but I think for the start, I think 6M can work. Because way back, I had already made my calculations. I already knew the type of camera I want to buy and its price. I knew what I need, the laptop and so forth, everything. So my starting budget had made a sum of 10M. So when my brother gets me 4M, so I go to mom and I write her the whole story, so I tell her I need 6M. So she says, okay, for the start, I will avail you 4 million. And I see how it goes. Then in the due course, I will avail you more money in advance if you
When
show.
you go to these equipment, so I need the camera with this one, I need the laptop, how did you know those equipment? Like now my budget is 10 million. Yet someone who never knew was still talking about it.
Okay, so I get to know that through a friend of mine who was a photographer. How do I get to know him? He's called Carlos. He's based in Porto. So Carlos was my friend. He used to come at school and take, whenever we had prom parties or events at school. So he used to come and capture those events. So I got to become friends with him. So I used to ask him, and he used to tell me some of these things. It's like, the cameras for the start, you can use this, Back in mind, I knew that after school, I have to do what? To join photography. So he gave me some of the knowledge I used to draft my budget. So basically, I got the knowledge from Carlos. The knowledge about the equipment and what to buy, what is needed. Some of the knowledge I got from the one Carlos in Porto.
So the brother has given us some money,
yes,
and the mother has also added that some money.
Yes.
So how far was that?
After getting the money I needed, I think it was a Friday evening. Yeah, if I recall, it was a Friday evening. I request my brother to escort me. We go to town, that is in Kampala. My first camera I bought was 3.2. It was a Canon camera. It was a 250D Canon camera. So I buy it at 3.2. I also buy a laptop. I bought a Lenovo laptop. Though the laptop I bought wasn't brand new, so I was trying to economize, and for the start is always challenging. So I buy a laptop, I get a camera, I buy some speed lights. Now I get back home, so I begin now looking for market
Buying all these, the camera, the speed light, the laptop, had you gained some skills already in photography?
Well, I can say I had some few skills, very few, very limited. But most skills, I gained them when I already had the equipment, because it is only when I had the equipment that I had time to sit down and say, now, I've bought this camera. I used to get pictures of professional photographers and look at them. And I also take a photo and ask myself, what is in his photo that is not in my photo? So I would compare. So I would look at his color grading and look at my color grading. So I would compare and see if his photo is, in photography there is what we call color grading and white balance. So when a photographer knows color grading and they are well conversant with it, then that, trust me, is going to give you good work. Because you can literally have a good camera, but poor quality. Reason? Your color grading matters a lot. So I get to learn these skills when I already had the equipment, and because I used to get time in the evening, I go walk. Sometimes I even travel. I remember I went to Queen Elizabeth. I went to Queen Elizabeth, took those shots, and the animals, the vegetation, the tour guides were helping me, So I got those skills when I had my equipment.
So we have bought these equipments and now we're back to Photo Town looking for the market. Without the skill, without that much skills in photography, was it in the marketing? Because I will come and the client, they want some photos, you will take me the photos, I will trust you, and then you bring back something which is not good. Will I come back to you? In that the marketing sort?
Well, first and foremost, my market wasn't based on photo mainly. Due to the fact that by the time in my vacation, I was staying with my brother. My brother is in Kampala here, so I found it really difficult to go back and forth photo and do market there. That's one. Two, most of my clients that I got at first were through my brother, because for him, he was already in the job world. He was dealing with the different people, he was connected to different classes of people, so he was well known. So most of them, I think the first 5, 6 professional gigs I got were through my brother. So when I got to realize that you can actually get me gigs, I didn't see any reason of rushing to go back to photo. That is one. Secondly, I can say that the first gigs I used to do, I used to move with one Joshua. Joshua was my close friend in town. He's also a photographer, but he was affiliated to a one fancy media pictures. So I get to know Joshua. So Joshua is like, I used to. So whenever I would get a gig, I would call Joshua and say, "No, Joshua, I have a party to cover. It's beginning at this time, ending at this time. So how do we set up?" So Joshua would basically tell me, "We need this, we need this, we need this, we shall need this." So we set up. He would help me in different areas as I'm also learning. So at the end of the day, I used to pay Joshua for his services. So with time, I got to learn most of these things.
Where do you get the money to pay Joshua?
Now, of course, when I would get a gig, they would pay me money. The money they would pay me, depending on the money I would have got, it would determine what amount I have to pay Joshua. So if, for example, I remember the very first party I covered with Joshua, I think it was a birthday party. I think I got around 280,000. So 280,000, I sit down and break up this money. I'm like, Joshua, you very well know I've just changed photography, so you don't expect much from me, but with time, we shall keep on increasing as I get expertise and get more gigs. So the good thing, Joshua understood me, and we worked together. I kept on paying him depending on the money I would have gotten. Yeah, but literally I wouldn't give him anything that is less than 80,000. Yes.
So we live photo now in Kampala.
Yes.
How was life in Kampala?
Of course, life in Kampala, in a layman's language, I would say it is very, very, very difficult.
How did you handle it?
Now, life in Kampala was challenging, difficult, but to a limited extent it was. I had my brother's hand help. He would help me, with rent because I never used to pay rent. I would sometimes I even never used to buy food because there would be food at home. So the most challenging part was really getting gigs and getting market and proving to clients that I knew what I was doing. Because as a first timer in the industry, clients need to look at what you've basically done. Because a client will call you and say, am I speaking to Walter? Yes, I have a birthday party tomorrow. I want you to come and cover my party. So how much do you charge? You tell them the amount and they're like, okay, could I have a glimpse of what you do? Can I have a look at some of your work you've done? So that was the most challenging part because at that time I never had one to show in.
How could you handle that?
So basically, what I would do, I had taken some portraits.
Would you give out photos of your colleagues? Because you can now the person wants the examples of the photos I've taken. I don't know them.
As a first timer in the industry and a person who by then had no expertise, I can honestly say that there is a gig where I got photos that were not mine and I used them. But later on, my colleagues blamed me and stopped me from doing it because they told me it comes with certain risks because someone can sue you for copyright. Though copyright law is not yet so much active in Uganda, but someone can sue you for using their content.
In journalism, we call it plagiarism. When you plagiarize someone's work.
Yes, but I think that I did that out of ignorance. As someone who had just come in the industry, I had no basics, But what I did basically, with time I started taking portraits of the people around me, like my brother Hilary. I say, now you know what? I'm giving you a free portrait for free. I take your portrait, hang it, and have a soft copy of it. So in case someone will call me and I need to have a look at your work. So it is your portrait I would give in and say, this is what I do.
As a vivid example.
Yes, as a vivid example. Then people started believing me slowly. Then after doing my first gig, then work was now a bit easier. So because one would ask, can I have a look at what you did? I present what I did earlier on. Yes.
So give me about the work which was not yours. Did it affect you negatively?
To a lesser extent, it affected me because later on, I realized what I did wasn't good and I regretted. But I didn't blame myself due to the fact that I was new in the industry. So I said, okay, I didn't want to blame much on myself, but I can say to a lesser extent, it affected me. It affected my brand. Because right now, when someone goes to my pages, my social media handles, and cross-checks the photos I took then and compares them to the photos I had sent them with another person, someone will realize that, this guy here lied a little bit.
What are those pages, social pages?
My social media handles are Walter Photography. Yes, on all social media platforms.
I was seeing water photography. Is it you or many other? Do you use it alone or with the other people use that same way?
There is Walter Shots and Walter Photography.
So you're water photography?
Yes. Now people confuse Walter Shots with Walter Photography. Yes. I know Walter Shots is also there. Yes. But my handles are Walter Photography. Yes.
On every platform?
Yes, on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all. So, TikTok, Snapchat, everyone.
Someone outside there would like to view his work, view and see one of his content. He uses water photography. Now, how did you correct those mistakes?
Well, of course, after a period of, I think, almost close to a year, I begin gaining some experience. I begin gaining trust. The all important issue was gaining the trust of the customers, of the clients. That is what was making me do mistakes. I wanted to prove to them that I actually knew what I was doing, though I had just done it. So all the mistakes generated from that. But after close to a year in the business, I can say, because with photography, the work you do today can be kept. You can go back after a month and review what you did. So after close to a year, I now begin reviewing my work. I realized that here my color grading skills were poor, so I got some professional video editors and photographers. They improved my color grading skills. I basically learned how to use the photo editing programs, Adobe Photoshop, and So with time, I kept on correcting one at a time. But basically, I never had a lot of mistakes. The only mistakes I think I had a lot that were lacking, which were not mistakes actually, I can say they were weaknesses, where my color grading was so poor at the beginning. But basically I begin to learn, because the whole issue is color grading. Yes.
So we are now in Kampala. We are ready to report to we are now in Kampala. Were you stationed somewhere or you used your mobile?
I was in the beginning. I was mobile. I was more of mobile, and I used to conduct most of my business online. Yes, even marketing was mostly online.
To the clients who are not digitalized, how could you approach them? Because I don't have a smartphone, I have nothing to do with the internet, so I want a photo. How could they reach it?
Yes, well, I was much aware of that challenge, but due to a number of factors which I left constant at the time, I realized that I had to first focus on one, which was by then building the experience, the expertise, and the client's trust. Then, being stationed somewhere would later on come and find me. Of course, I was much aware that I was losing a certain section of the market, because there are people definitely who are not on internet. Someone just comes, he wants passport photos and goes, and so you miss on all that when you don't have an address. But I first forewent that. I decided to be more of mobile. So after that, with time, I kept on advancing them. Eventually, I got an address.
Where is that address?
So as we talk, my address is on Gaba Road, that is in Kansana. There is opposite Beverly Hills. There is a bar called Beverly Hills. Now opposite, as you're going to Gaba opposite on your left, that is where we are.
how can someone reach you out? Someone is from Masindi.
Yes.
I don't know Gaba. I've never reached Kansanga.
Yes.
So I don't know River Hills. How can I reach you?
Well, like I said, we have many platforms. Well, one, you can either use my social media. That is all platforms. I use water photography. You can send me a DM message. You can DM me a message there, or you can contact us through our numbers, our WhatsApp numbers. Yeah, my WhatsApp number is 0751 354 632. That is Airtel 0751 354 632. That is my Airtel WhatsApp line. Then I also have MTN. Now MTN, this is the company WhatsApp. That is 0763 27 67 16. 0763 27 67 16.
So the MTN is the company WhatsApp and
Yes.
the Airtel is your personal WhatsApp.
Yes.
So as you said, you have many people. Who are they and how do you handle that? Are you the boss? How do you handle the payments?
Oh, okay. So now that I work with a team of professional photographers, we came up with an idea. I came up with an idea because later on I realized in the due process, photography is quite interesting but expensive. So I get an idea of beginning a photography company with a team of people who are willing and ready to work. So I get a one Godfrey. Godfrey is my hobby. We studied together at St. Leo's. So I get an idea. I called him and I said, you know what? Godfrey is also now. By the time I called, he was doing wildlife. He was training to be a tour guide. So he also had passion for photography. So I called him. I'm like, Godfrey, you know what? I want us to cooperate and partner and start up a photography and videography studio. He's like, wow, that is a good idea. So we sit down. We meet in town. We sit down and draft a plan. We make a budget. We see what we needed. So we realized we wanted a team of minimum 5 people. So already we were 2. We needed to get the 3 people. So Godfrey tells me that what we need to do, we can hire the 3 people. Basically, we hire them. We don't employ them on a permanent basis. They can come when there is need, they work with us, we pay them, they go.
So they get on commission?
Yes. So we get a team of other 3 guys that were brought in by Godfrey. One was Elijah, another one was Matthew and John. So we connect. These guys would come in whenever we were in the field or we had a gig. So Guma would call them, Godfrey. It's Guma Godfrey. So Godfrey would call them and say, you know what, guys, we have work tomorrow. You're needed at this time. So guys would come and work. So generally that is how I build the team now. That is how we build the team. So up to now, we are still a team of 5. And a team of 5, each one of us has a role to play on the team. When we are in the field, each one has a different role to play so that we come up with quality work. Yes.
I've seen many people outside there going into conflicts over partnering in one business.
Yes.
Issues to do with money. If your main issues to do with women, the lady can easily disorganize you.
Yes.
Have you witnessed that in a partnership?
So far, I can say so far so good. Though we get challenges here and there, but so far, so good. We haven't gotten any challenges with good trip. Yes.
How do you handle the tourism sector and where you're a student and photographer?
Well, I can say that is the easiest thing because tourism has contributed, I can say 75% to my photography career because you cannot get, basically you can't get content when you don't travel. So you need to travel to get content. And tourism mainly is travel. It is a travel one. That is why it is called tourism. Some scholars say tourism and travel. Because when you travel, you get content. So tourism has basically contributed, I can say, 75% to my career because when I travel to different destinations, I get content, I create content, it has really helped me a lot.
So at Kampala University, have you got some market there?
Yeah, basically I can, and surprisingly yet, good thing is that in my first year, the very first semester I joined Kampala University, I get our head of department tells us that you know what, 200 students, we have a trip. We are going to Murchison Falls National Park. So I'm like, oh, okay. So in the meantime, our course coordinator comes to me and informs me that they were looking for a photographer. He told me, not because he knew that I was a photographer, but we were interacting. So he told me, I need to get a photographer. We are for Murchison. I'm like, oh, but I do photography. So he's like, oh, you're sure? I'm like, yes. So basically, that was my first professional gig at Kampala University. So they take me as their photographer. At the same time, I go as a student of Kampala University. So I can say it was a memorable experience.
You only get for tourism students who are going only for travels. How about this one? I've seen students there, I want a photo shoot, I want a photo shoot, 1 or 3. Do you also handle that?
Yes, I do handle it, depending on if we really agree. If we really agree, depending on what you want. You see, photography is very broad and it has there are many types of photography. Very many types of photography. So depending on what the client wants. Yes.
Meanwhile, you told me that the indoor photography, the tourism photography, we are going for a short break, but when we come back, I would like you to explore more about the kinds of photography.
Yes.
Short commercial break, we shall come back. My name is Trevor Kampala. The flag behind me represents the country where I come from. I'm proudly Ugandan, and I'm unapologetically Ugandan, the country which is blessed by God. The tourism country in all the Africa, the Muganda calls it the Kulalia Africa. I hope you know some Uganda, the power of Africa in English. My name is Trevor Kampala. Let's go for a short commercial break. We shall come back.